because we had decided on the 23rd that this was a war, and therefore we started training, not training, but getting the Air Force bind set and putting them all in position, that by the 1st of September, we were expecting an invasion any time. But it happened on the 6th. Now, it's equally true that the Indian Air Force, the Indian Army was not prepared for war at all. And the cabinet didn't decide till the 3rd of September that it will go to war. Both sides, in fact, had this absurd situation that gone to war, ended up in a war which they really didn't want. They were recovering from the 62 beating from China. We fortunately had the American aid coming in for 8 years, for the last 10 years before CPC. That had come in, we have been able to get that, same equipment, same people trained on it all the time. So we had that, so 90% of our aeroplanes that we had on the ground, we had nothing coming after that. So we had to depend upon that only. Indians had all sorts of equipment, lots of equipment buying from Russia, from this place, from that place. And I don't think they were at all up to the mark. Now we were in a situation that we were 1/3 of their force. They had equipment of better equipment or equally good equipment. And, we were able to do it because we were anticipating. We knew almost when to do, how to do, what the Indians were going to do. To me, those few days before the war, or these things, was this absolute nightmare that will we succeed? Can we cope with this thing? And we had to, because we were a small country, these things, a small Air Force. Our main base, in which 2/3 of the Air Force was concentrated, was Sargodha, and one radar station, Sakesar, behind it. If they were to silence Sakesar, we would be blind. And Sargodha, if they'd attacked and destroyed most of the air on the ground, again, we would be easy. And they had the strength to be able to, if I were there, I would have done it. To me, this war looked to a great disadvantage to Pakistan and unnecessarily absurd. But we had decided, so we had to make the best of it. Pakistan is not able to fight any war more than a few weeks because all their equipment they buy is from or seek from outside. Our aeroplanes come from there either through aid or through, we buy it. But the foreign powers can cut off that any time if they don't think. The military is entirely independent. So the question of fighting anything more than a couple of weeks or so, but is not there. So that is the first absurdity, that we're going to war and we know that we can't carry on.
We were not defending, we were the aggressor. We were the people who intruded, into Kashmir. And of course, as a reaction, then India invaded Pakistan.
I mean, after Gibraltar, what else could the Indians do? They were defending themselves. Till 65, we were doing quite well. Ayub Khan was a dictator, but he was not a very harsh leader. Administrative and political, administrative stability has been brought in. Economically and others, we were thinking, we are all very proud of that. We were there in London and meeting with Indians there who were across there, and in America and others. And they all envied us. The Indians were envying us that we were progressing so well. The South Koreans were talking to us as to how we were doing these things to show us the way.
The relationship with India because then we have cut off all our communication with India, no dialogue, no negotiations, and no contacts, neither cultural nor commercial. I think we also suffered economically and politically. Ayub Khan lost his power, and Bhutto exploited the situation in his favor.
I know that General Ayub had, we've known him for some time before, that he had no inclination to want to fight a war with India. He didn't want it. He had no plans in his own mind. He had no those ambitions at all. And the army was not geared to fight. They were on a peacetime basis. They were still not, the whole army was not informed. Of course, Navy and the Air Force were not.